You can support this podcast and get shows early and ad-free, as well as bonus episodes over at patreon.com/flashback64.
We need your help, Star Fox!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Flashback 64 3D, the chronological Nintendo 64 podcast. I'm Gooey, joined as always by McKenna.
Hello.
And this is either one of our most like up to date episodes ever, or like way out of date, like way dated episodes, because we're talking about Star Fox. But not not the new one. We're talking about Star Fox 64 3D, the remake for Nintendo 3DS. And it's accidentally timely because we started talking about doing this episode before the new game was announced. But now, as you're listening to this episode is scheduled to come out right around the weekend it releases. So how about that? I don't know. We'll see.
Right.
Yeah. But we have a great guest with us today to discuss this game. You may know them from YouTube, or you might have seen her on
YouTube. Trust me.
You may have seen her on Blue Sky as well. Welcome, Freezer, to the show.
Hey,
it's good to have you.
That's great to be here. I know a while ago we talked about like episodes I could be on, and I didn't think you'd return to Star Fox 64, so I'm glad I'm here and not for some like shitty Duke Nukem game no one cares about.
Well, Star Fox 64, it's a game. We've had a couple games that we've revisited. If we can do multiple things where we talk about Biofreaks, I think we can return to Star Fox many times.
And if the leaks are true, you'll be coming back to Ocarina of Time like 5 times maybe.
Oh boy. Yeah, we'll get into maybe discussing some general remake thoughts for sure. But I guess since we're welcoming you to the show for the very first time, what we usually like to do, actually, I should even say before we get into that, you have a great video on Star Fox 64 3D on your YouTube channel that goes into this probably way more in depth than we will even be able to go in this episode. So I recommend everyone go watch that. And I'm saying that because I'll know the answer to some of my questions to you. First one being, what is your history in general with the Nintendo 64?
Well, so I'm the youngest of 5 kids, and we were a little spoiled. So we had most of the game systems at the time. Like I had a PlayStation, an N64, a Game Boy. So I don't remember getting an N64, but it's one of those, like, my earliest memories are playing it. So it's like, it's always existed as far as I'm concerned, even though, you know, it released a couple years after I was born. Mm-hmm. But this is one of the last games that I don't remember first playing. It's just always been there. Yeah, it's...
Okay, right on.
Yeah, well, no, I loved it, and it's like such a sentimental game to me.
Yes, well, I gotta know too, since we're also talking about the 3DS. This is our first time actually. We've covered one remake before, which was Diddy Kong Racing DS. But now we're talking about the 3DS, and so I gotta know.
Yeah, that's nice.
I would say this is spoilers. I would say this is, I think, much better than that.
Yeah.
But
could you imagine though if they made you start each level by like blowing into the microphone or something?
Freezer, what about your history with the 3DS? We've never talked about it before.
Yeah, so around the time the 3DS was announced, I was a teenager and I was really in my anti-Nintendo phase. I hated the
Nice.
Wii. I hated the DS. Nintendo is appealing to these casuals, and I, a 16-year-old with an Xbox 360, why would I want this dumb stuff? But then they announced, Star Fox 64 is coming out for this thing. And I flipped instantly. I was so excited for this brand new Nintendo that cared about games I liked and only I liked. I was the one kid in high school excited for the Project Cafe, which became the Wii U.
I don't remember that code name. Okay.
Yeah, I know that it was not as good as Dolphin or Revolution, but Project Cafe. I was so excited for this, and I basically not subtly made sure my family knew this is what I need for my birthday. And even though my birthday was months before Star Fox came out, I just wanted it so I could have Star Fox day one.
Okay, great. So literally the game in question today was the whole impetus for you to get a 3DS.
And then that's 3 amazing. Months, I had to play all the really boring 3DS launch games.
Yeah, that was so I kind of missed on that because I didn't get one.
You weren't an ambassador.
I wasn't an ambassador, no. So I don't have some of the fun. I don't have like the Four Swords Anniversary Edition or anything like that.
I remember at an EB Games, I was looking at all the bad 3DS games, and I talked to the sales guy, and I was asking what's a good 3DS game, and he was like, this one is really good, and it was the fucking Rayman Rabbids platformer. That's where we were at.
Trying to make a sale,
Yeah, no, the fact that the 3DS is nowadays considered one of Nintendo's best things, presumably because the people that grew up with it are adults now, but still, this was a failure of a system for months, and they turned it around pretty quickly.
Yeah, I can appreciate that feeling that people have. Well, McKenna, maybe I'll let you go first. What's when did you get a 3DS?
I'm not sure exactly when I got it. Mm-hmm. It was after I was not an ambassador. It was after that period of time.
Can I guess it's because Pokemon?
I definitely, yeah.
Okay.
I needed it to play Pokemon. Mm-hmm. And I've always been really into the Nintendo handhelds. So I got all the Pokemon games that came out on it. And this is actually the way that I played several Zelda games for the first time. The original, Adventure of Link, the Oracle games, Link's Awakening. I think I had all of those on the 3DS, and that's the first time that I played those. Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Animal Crossing New Leaf was a big one that I played on there.
Oh, of course.
But yeah, definitely a big fan of the 3DS.
You didn't play the Rayman platformer where you played as the rabbits?
You fucked up.
Clearly I messed up there.
You didn't play Steel Diver? Everyone loves Steel Diver.
I don't even know what that is.
It even got a sequel. That's the submarine simulator game. It was a launch title for 3DS.
Oh, wait.
That's why no one
that has maybe come up on the show for some reason, but maybe I'm thinking of something else.
Yeah, see, when you do Flashback 3DS, it's going to be really bad for the first couple of years of a podcast. So you're going to have to go over all these games.
That'd be great when we're 90 years old or something.
Here's a version of Monkey Ball where every level's got fences on it so you can't fall off.
Oh, nice. Great. So for me, I think I've told this a bunch of times, but in the era of GBA and DS, that was when I was a teenager, and it wasn't because I was anti-Nintendo like you, Freezer, but I was more I started working and I just was playing in bands. I had kind of more of I would still game like a lot on the Wii, co-op, or not co-op, but Smash and Mario Kart and stuff like that. But I was not doing a lot on my own beyond console gaming. So I I kind of, in the early era of the 3DS, I was kind of playing catch up. I was like borrowing my brother's DS to play like the Zelda games on DS. And then when 3DS came out, I didn't even remember having a conception of like, there's nothing on it to play, just because I wasn't really super focused. I didn't really care too much about having a handheld console in general, unless there was like a Zelda game, basically, because I'm like a big Zelda nerd.
You missed out. Everyone in high school bullied me for getting a 3DS when we all knew Sony's Vita is going to be the real thing. That's going to launch with like games that matter. It has 2 sticks. Nintendo doesn't do that. Now
that console has some shooters though. Like people go hard for the Vita. I've never honestly played
people that go hard for the Vita, and I'm one of them.
Eventually, because when it, I think actually like 2011, same year as Star Fox, there was the Ocarina of Time remake, and I was still like, I had ways to play Ocarina of Time, and so I was like, okay, that's cool, but like I don't really need this. And then it wasn't until A Link Between Worlds was announced that I was like, okay, I have to get a 3DS, because I was just so excited for it. Actually, I bought one secondhand from this is actually, I don't know if this is embarrassing. I bought it secondhand from someone who I met on a dating app at the time. I was 21. I met someone on a dating app, talked for a little bit, never met, didn't work out. But then one day she was like, I'm going to get rid of my 3DS because, you know, I'm tired of playing this stupid submarine game or whatever. You know, there's nothing to play on it. And I was like, all right, I got to get one. And I bought it from her. And then that was the last time we ever spoke. But I got it.
I thought you were going to say you went on a date with this person and then decided to go home with a 3DS instead.
Like, oh, that's a nice 3DS. Yeah. But no, it's the 3DS that I have still has like, there's like 3 random games on it that she previously bought and are just on there, and they're just random games that I have.
Her friends, the pictures on Face Raiders. My 3DS still has high school people from Face Raiders. Like, I haven't seen these people in 15 years, but they're on my 3DS menu because of Face Raiders.
They live there now. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool, actually. I like that feature.
Yeah, that was one of the killer apps for the 3DS because I had some games.
So once I got it, you know, it was sweet. I downloaded the A Link Between Worlds trailer and watched it with the 3D on, and I was pretty hyped. And from that point, like, I was like, because I still wasn't like always playing things handheld, it was like I would basically bring it when I would go on like a trip, and that was when I'd play it. So like I never like had the feeling of like, oh, there's no games to play, because it was like by the time I was doing another, like I'd go like on tour or out of town like a couple times a year, and there would be like Luigi's Mansion, Animal Crossing, Pokemon, like, and I'd play that game on that trip, and it was like great. So and then of course I did end up getting like the Zelda remakes, and I did play some of the aforementioned like Zelda games that you mentioned, McKenna. Like I got them on there as well,
and
it
I'm
was
sure
nice
you
to have
played
them like
Codename Steam. Everyone's played that.
I feel
no
like
one remembers that game. It sold so terribly that it didn't even chart in Japan. It came less than 20th in its first week.
I never tried it. No, unfortunately.
No one's tried it. That's the point. I bought it because I thought this game is going to become a cult classic. This is like the Earthbound of the future, and it now goes for like $2 on eBay.
So you were like it's in on the ground floor. And
oh yeah,
isn't that kind of nice though that you're like a, you know, you were sort of like an early adopter of like a game that's.
It will be nice when other people care about it, but we're not paying yet.
But you can be like, oh, it's a hidden gem, and it's my hidden gem, you know?
Yeah, but like the people who played Earthbound in the 90s, like they might have said this is the best game ever, and they still got beat up at school for it. Like no one actually cared.
Yeah, true. You don't get
we
to
need
be
Abe
like
Lincoln and Smash Bros. Then people will care.
I can't leave Slippy hanging.
Speaking of what we were doing at that time, This is one of our most contemporary. Well, we've done a few with Winter, but here we go. I'm going to tell you what was going on at the time with our flashback segment. Star Fox 64 3D came out in September 2011. Number one song was fucking Moves Like Jagger.
Oh my god.
That's been the thing about flashing back to these eras is like, this is stuff that I have like anti-nostalgia for. This is the worst.
I remember that song coming
I
out.
am so musically oblivious that because I recognize that song, I'm excited. Like, that's all that matters. Like, oh, I vaguely remember that. People will tell me the most famous music of all time and I've never heard it.
Hey, it's nice that you're aware of Moves Like Jagger, Maroon 5. Yeah.
Total.
See, I forgot who sang it. That's the point. That's how little I know about music.
Yeah, you have thoughts on Maroon 5?
Just that was like a total vibe shift for them.
Yeah.
And like they're just not the same. They're not the same anymore.
No, they were already a fairly boring band, and then they just were like, what if we got somehow worse and worse? So yeah, that's
I like their early.
So you
like
were in on the ground
Yeah.
floor for Maroon 5.
Yeah, that's the code name.
They got
well, no,
they
because
got
they're huge.
like Happy and Poppy and
Yeah. I won't back up their early stuff, but I would say it's listenable. But that might be because it's from a slightly more nostalgic time, but also kind of when was She Will Be Loved? When did that come out?
Oh, I know that song. Wow, this is the first time I've known two songs in a row.
What is that? Like 2000? I don't know. I'm not going to make the podcast.
In an episode of Scrubs. That's how I know music.
Oh, okay. Well,
sorry.
That's a whole other. Okay. Number one movie at the time, Contagion, which at that time I went and saw in theaters. I don't remember pretty much anything about it. I remember my girlfriend at the time said like, "Oh yeah, that was cool because it was like super accurate as to how we would handle a pandemic." But I remember everyone rewatched it during COVID and I was like, I don't care. I'm not rewatching it. Did you?
Did I rewatch it during COVID?
Or did you watch it ever? Do you have thoughts?
I watched it.
Contagion. It's basically about, I think Matt Damon's in it, right? Matt Damon's in it, and it's like there's like a pandemic, and it's about like
it's what Gwyneth Paltrow is like the first.
Yeah, patient zero.
She like travels to China. Is that where she is?
Probably, because I remember it was one of those things like that episode of The Simpsons when COVID started, where people were like, "This is eerily similar to real life."
Yeah, I don't remember a lot about it, and I don't know why people would want to watch it in 2020. Because I was like, why do you want to like sit further in that? I
don't know. People were like really trying to, find different ways to like cope with.
Yeah, that's not my idea of coping.
Yeah, I don't want to hold I never want to like say my opinion on something based on like what I thought about it when I was 20 to 21 years old, because like I'm still stupid, but I feel like I was like really stupid then. So like my memory of it was, again, I think I saw it in theaters with the person I was dating, and I said that was really boring, and she was like, well, it was supposed to be boring. But I don't know.
That's
like
what we
if
got
I
to say
watch
about this episode of the podcast.
This is supposed to be
year first.
It's quite possible you're highly contagious. Don't talk to anyone. Don't touch anyone.
We're working very hard to find out where this virus came from. It's in schools and it's in the mall.
Have you found any treatment at all?
No. It's going to spread.
It gets on airplanes. It travels at 500 miles an hour.
We're all guinea pigs.
Oh my God. Contagion, rated PG-13, in theaters and IMAX September 9th.
Okay, you know what else happened in September 2011? Snapchat was launched. I remember that.
Cool.
I remember it. I never used it.
Some people still use it, right? Some people.
I know of like 3 years ago, like every like younger person I worked with, like that was their primary form of communication. But I don't know Like, I don't know if this is like a thing where I'm way out of touch. So
I used it mostly while I was in college, so just like a few years, but they had like geotag stamps that you could add to your pictures, and I loved those. And every time I traveled somewhere, I would try to get a picture with one of the geotags and save it.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Freezer, did you ever fuck with Snapchat?
No, I didn't. I'm like all my friends did. I'm always on the edge of popular things. So I know they exist, but I just can't get my foot in the door.
I have a specific memory of that was right around when I got a smartphone, and I remember like being on a trip with my band at the time, and like just like that being like, oh, everyone was messing with this app, and I got it, and I think I messed with it. To me, it was much like one of those random 3DS games I mentioned where I messed with it on that trip, and then I was like, this sucks. Like, I don't really care.
It's the reason why we have stories in every social media now.
That's true. It's had an impact. I'm not a big fan of stories, but
you
again,
just depressed me, but yeah.
This is Let's Date Us. Let's Date Us, the podcast. Also, September 2011 was Occupy Wall Street began. And
I'm glad we fixed the economy then, and it's all been perfect since.
Yeah, everything is good now. By the time this podcast comes out, I'm sure things are going to be even better.
Better than ever.
Things are only on the look, on the up and up. This is memorable to me because, like, I didn't really, like I said, I was stupid at the time, so I didn't really like know exactly what was going on. Like, I was only 2 years out of high school, and I guess I dropped out after a year and a half of college, so right at this time actually, and so I didn't understand like the economy or what was going on, but this was kind of a big deal to me because it was like the first protest I ever went to. Because my partner at the time, who loved Contagion, was like, I had just moved to Chicago, and she was like, yeah, we should go down there and like bring people stuff or whatever. And I was like, hell yeah. Like, that's, I mean, I was definitely very like, you know, I was just generally like, I don't like the government at the time, you know? So I was like, yeah, let's do it.
And I'm glad that's changed as well. Now you love the government.
I mean, the guy now, really cool, obviously. So
exactly. He just released a new phone.
It is a crowd that grows daily in size and diversity. Today, thousands of union workers marched in solidarity and joining a common cause, blaming bank greed for the country's economic woes. This afternoon, thousands marched from Manhattan's Foley Park into the heart of Wall Street.
America is fed up with just being forced into poverty.
Let me tell you video games that released around this time too. I'm just gonna read a list of them. You can.
I think Star Fox 64 3D might be included.
That's at the end.
Okay, good. I got one right.
Bit Trip Saga, The Gunstringer, Hard Reset, NHL 12, Nicktoons MLB, Red Orchestra 2, Heroes of Stalingrad, Sengoku, Way of the Warrior, Thor, God of Thunder, Renegade Ops, and most people were probably playing Gears of War 3. That was the big game at the time. So a lot of classics in there. Nicktoons MLB, I think, iconic game.
We don't really get too many MLB games here, so that's a game I didn't even know about until like 2016, 2017, and I thought it was a joke.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you can play a SpongeBob, or I can't even do the joke because I can't name someone who was playing baseball at the time.
You know, all my baseball references end with like Ken Griffey Jr. games and that Simpsons episode.
Star Fox 64 3D, men. And John?
No, I'm a man. You were all at my bar mitzvah.
Oh, nice barrel roll.
Wait, what's a barrel roll?
No, nobody tell me.
Oh, yeah, supernova. Did your voice just crack?
Cloaking device. Where am I? You can't see me. You can't see me.
Oh, bow before your king.
I'm not gonna bow.
Yeah, I'm not gonna bow.
Face off with your friends in Star Fox 64 3D. Only on Nintendo 3DS. Rated everyone 10 and up. And now get Nintendo 3DS for $169.99.
Like you said, Star Fox 64 3D. That of course came out this time. That's the main event here. What we're going to talk about. But Freezer, you did mention, yeah, this is your game, and we obviously did a whole episode on Star Fox 64. So just in general, I guess, maybe tell us, about your history with Star Fox 64 in general.
Yeah, so I first, the game came out when I was 3. So it's one of those games that it took me actual years before I saw Venom. It's a game that it coincided with my ability to play games. So I still sunk dozens of hours into it as a kid that couldn't get past Solar or Macbeth. But I just kept wanting to replay it. When Smash Bros came out, I played as Fox McCloud, because this was my favorite game, and I played on what I'm going to call Sector Z, just to annoy people. I played on Sector Z, and that was a stage I knew from Smash Bros. I didn't even ever see that path until many years later. And when I got older in the 2000s, I got into emulation. If Nintendo was listening, I of course legally dumped my cartridge, as every,
of course,
yeah. So Star Fox 64, obviously it's best to play it with an analog stick. But if you're playing on a crappy keyboard, that's one of those games that works better than games with 3D movement. So I, of course, put so much time into that in the 2000s, just on a shitty laptop. And that's when I really got obsessed. I in the 2000s, on a shitty laptop with, I would have had WASD, and then I would have had, I think, left arrow and down arrow in my A and B. And Q and E were my my barrel rolls. So I played like that for so many hours that I got every medal on expert mode.
Whoa.
So I haven't played like that for a long time, but I have probably played this game the most on a shitty keyboard.
So when you got to play it on a controller, was that taking weights off of practicing? Were you a god gamer at that point?
Yeah, and my parents didn't because I had so many siblings and we all had Game Boys. We were running through batteries quickly, so they didn't let us use the Rumble Pack on N64. So I never actually played Star Fox with a Rumble Pack until NSO.
And that's one of the selling points of the game.
I didn't know that though. I was a stupid little kid. I didn't know about the Rumble Pack and Star Fox till I saw the promotional VHS on YouTube in 2008 or something.
A classic VHS, yeah.
But no, across N64, shitty laptop, and 3DS, I've probably put thousands of hours into this game. I know it I know it kind of too well. It's kind of depressing. And like I said, this game, I made sure to pre-order this on 3DS. I used to watch the trailer every day, on 3DS, the 3D turned up. And if you went to Nintendo's website on the 3DS, they even had special downloadable photos that you could get, and they would be in 3D.
Yeah, this was the great time of 2011 when we were all listening to moves like Jagger. That was a really cool time, in their promotion of things. Like I said, how I got a Link to the Past trailer. I was looking at it in 3D. It was just really fun. I'm not gonna wax nostalgic about it. Things were better then or whatever. But that was just
sucked. But so we were the right age.
Yeah, right.
Speaking of things that are terrible, but being that age for it, I was seconds away from breaking this game's street date in Australia as a teenager.
Really?
I went into a store and pretended I don't see this game. Do you have it in the back? And the sales clerk was ringing it up before her manager stopped us from doing it.
Oh,
do not do that. If you are an impressionable teenager, don't be that piece of shit. But I needed it so desperately.
Yeah. I actually, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say, when this I think it came out in America like 3 days before it came out here. Something like that. Something so insignificantly short that doesn't mean anything as an adult. But back then, I was constantly going online looking up, like, what do people think of this 3DS version? And I found some forum where someone was like, oh, I played this game, beat it in an hour. This is shit shovelware. Nintendo needs to try harder.
That seems like rage bait, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. But this was at the time where everyone hated the 3DS because why does Nintendo... People were saying that, like, Nintendo should have made Ocarina of Time for regular DS, not this 3DS.
What does that doesn't make sense? Okay.
People, like a lot of people, it's like the Wii U, where there's like, obviously we know all this stuff, but to like the layman on a forum, they might not realize just how much more powerful the hardware is and that it's a whole new console. They might have thought it was like just Avatar where you put the 3D glasses on.
Right. Oh yeah, just turn on the 3D.
Because
right.
there were people apparently, and I don't want to believe it, but apparently people tried to cut the tabs off the 3DS cartridges to see if it would fit in a DS. They have those little nubs on it.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the error. People, yeah.
Went from that to tasting
every single person saying that was rage baiting, and I don't think they all could have been.
Just an army of rage baiters. Well, you mentioned Sector Z earlier, and I want to thank you. You haven't even corrected us that the game originally was called
I'll
Lilac
be getting
Wars.
into that later.
Oh, okay. Because we have had people from who had the PAL release and stuff who, like that was always weird to them.
Just to get into that then, as a teenager who was emulating the game and looking up ROMs, I played Lilac Wars for a long time, and then I was like, wait, there's a game called Star Fox 64? They made 2 Star Foxes for N64? That's so cool. And my heart was broken when I found out it was the same game.
Okay, now I could see why you'd hold something against the naming. Though, I mean, I think we're on the record. Lilac Wars is a cooler name.
Yeah, and the Switch 2 remake will be the first game called Star Fox here, because the first one was Star Wing.
Oh so, my lord, yeah. I sort of get why they go with that, because it's so much more. It's just like the branding is you're getting the Star Fox game,
And I think and there's like licensing things here where like they couldn't call it Star Fox because of some German company in like the 80s and 90s.
Oh, okay.
It was like a name or something like Star Vox or something, and they thought it might have confused the market.
Oh yeah, I just that's like I just learned from another podcast that the band Bush had to be called in Canada. There was like a smaller band called Bush, so that for a while in Canada they called themselves Bush X, but now they can be called Bush, I guess.
And Bush in Australia, it's not called Burger King. We call it Hungry Jacks.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, we call it Hungry Jacks. I don't know why, but we do.
Oh,
wow.
So it's the same same company. Basically, I think it's the same logo Burger King used in like the 80s and 90s. Not the modern one, but same thing, same basic menu, but we call it Hungry Jacks.
I wonder, is it a thing like how they have like what's it, Carl's Jr. and Hardee's? Where
apparently, from what I remember, there was like a single Australian shop called Burger King in like the 70s when they first set up here.
Oh,
and
okay.
By the time that company went bankrupt, the name stuck.
Yeah, well, you know what? That I would say that's a better name. Except you don't get the cool mascot they make video games.
We didn't get Sneak King for Xbox 360. Can you believe it? We missed
Poor Australia.
Yeah.
When you were playing it and like you were so obsessed with it that you were playing it this horrible way on the laptop. What
the definitive way.
And you like you said, like before that, when you were really young and you weren't even getting very far, like what about the game like drew you to it, to where you're like, I have to keep playing this?
Well, I don't really know. I think part of it helped that it was a game that as a really little kid, you move by yourself, so it plays for you. You just have to not die. So that's a good start. Yeah. But I thought the world was cool. The graphics were really impressive, obviously, because it's a hallway. So, it wasn't covered in fog, which was a good start.
Great point.
It had all this voice acting. It even had in Lilat Wars, there was even an optional extra language called Lilat, which was like the bleeps and bloops from Star Fox on Super Nintendo.
Yeah, it's it's almost like Animal Crossing-esque sort of. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. I don't know. It was this really immersive, fun experience. And as a little kid, the idea that you got from start to finish in different ways, all based on your skill level, was really fascinating to me. And we still don't really see that too often in games.
No, yeah, that's I think one of the coolest things about it. And I feel like
it also punished players. Like if you played on Ficina or Fortuna, as we knew it back then, the first few times I played it, the bomb went off, and it was like a really cool learning experience.
I do like that some levels it's like you can sort of fail and continue. I always thought that was kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
There's no failure state beyond a game over, so it's cool. You could get like probably 10 kills minimum, because you have to kill the boss on each level, but you could probably pacifist the rest of the game, just dodging everything.
Oh, I wonder if there's a speedrun category for that. There's got to be, right?
Yeah, there's probably got to be like a low run percentage thing, because the boss fights, they also give you less points if you kill them like after a really long time, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I know Star Wolf definitely do. Like if you want the medal and Venom, you've got to kill them very quickly because they're worth 50 points each. But if you take your time, I think it's like 10 points each or something.
That's cool. Yeah, there is a lot of because that was like you mentioned, the one person saying they beat in an hour. I do remember reading some contemporary reviews of like the original Star Fox 64, where some people said, oh, it's maybe kind of short, and to them, I think what it came down to was they didn't find like replaying the stages to be all that worthwhile. This is not my opinion. I'm just kind of more speaking. I like this layout where it's like you can try to go the different ways. I think the only other game we really played that was sort of like that on the N64 chronology so far is like Yoshi's Story, McKenna. Like that sort of had that, where it's like you could do different things in the stages to go different ways. But this is like a more like challenging version of that. Like you have to like lock in on some of those levels to do the harder route.
You still don't see it often now. Like even like Star Fox with its many sequels and reimaginings doesn't really get this down as well as this game. Like Star Fox Zero is probably the closest, and that game's routing is much more limited if you've never played it. You don't have quite as many options.
I did get that when it came out. I was really excited about it, and
I'm one of its fans, I'll just say. I know there's very few of us, but in 20 or 30 years, when it becomes the next cult classic worth $1 million, I was there first.
Yeah, it definitely didn't click with me, but now I'm more, it's been a while. I'm kind of curious about that,
it was the first time we got to see the Star Fox 64 story in HD. You get to compare it with the next one.
Hello, we are Kirby Conversations, a podcast on Kirby along with adjacent subjects like Smash Brothers, HAL Laboratory, and other related Nintendo games.
In each episode, we take an in-depth look at a new Kirby topic, drawing on our decades of experience with the series. I'm Sean Douglas. I'm a writer and podcaster with a background in video game and theater journalism.
And I'm Gigi, the editor-in-chief of Kirby and a big Kirby fan from Brazil. I translate Kirby interviews from Japanese to English and research a bunch of obscure Kirby media.
And I'm Bridget, a longtime fan, commentator, fan artist, and Kirby collector.
Join us for a mix of commentary and original reporting, deep dives into Kirby history, interviews with industry professionals, and more, as together we explore all things Kirby and HAL Laboratory. We're a proud part of the Soundstone Podcast Network, and you can find Kirby Conversations on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
One thing I thought was cool about this game was that it was not only developed by Nintendo, but Q Games. And you talk about this in your video, but Dylan Cuthbert came back, the original creator of the series got to come back and work on that game. I thought that was really neat. Like he had kind of gone on to do his own thing, but like I thought it was cool because there was a lot of stuff in Star Fox 64 that, you know, you could see maybe how it was born out of some ideas in Star Fox 2, which we never got to see. And then Star Fox 64, like, they didn't work on that. So, like, it was kind of cool to see them kind of return to their series and kind of, like, put their mark on it.
It was kind of a second time they even did that because Q Games also did Star Fox Command for DS. And
yeah,
that's like a more strategic take on Star Fox, which Star Fox 2 also is, but they're wildly different games in how they play. But you can see, because Star Fox 2 was basically, you know, vaporware at this point, unless you played an incomplete ROM illegally, you know, there were all these ideas that the public never really got to see. So they, you know, Dylan clearly wanted to incorporate some of it how he could.
And I think they did a nice job with this game. McKenna, maybe we'll let you just generally, what do you think about the remake here, Star Fox 64 3D?
I like it a lot. I think they did a great job with the visuals and the sound and the 3DS gameplay. I think the 3D looks great on it. I don't usually when I'm playing my 3DS, I just turn the 3D slider off. I just play it in 2D, which I did with this, but I did turn it up to see how it looked, and I was like, this looks really nice. It looks the depth looks really nice, and seeing all the things in literal space and on the planets looks nice. I played a little with the gyro, and I didn't. I'd say it's not really my thing for this kind of game. I think I prefer gyro more for like slower aiming, like bow and arrow in Zelda is what I'm thinking. But it's cool that it's there.
I was thinking while I was playing this, like I would probably like doing this if it was divorced from like also having to maneuver around and I'm moving the controller, but the controller is also the screen, you know, and that made it kind of weird, which then made me think like, oh, maybe I do need to give Star Fox Zero another try at Freezer, because that is kind of what they were going for there. Where
Miyamoto was insistent on this. With like, I read in like an Iwata Asks thing, the gyro for this game was made in 2 days because Miyamoto said, "This game's perfect, but where's the gyro?" So Dylan was like, "Fuck, I've got to develop this quickly." So it was made last minute to make Miyamoto happy, and Miyamoto was thrilled. And then a few years later, we got gyro again in a game no one likes except me, and critique, and that's it.
I will say I generally thought it played well. Like my biggest issue was just that like it in long term. Yeah, I ended up like what I ended up doing was being like, oh, you can still use the stick to like maneuver, and it was sort of like, it reminded me of, you mentioned like gyro that I do like aiming in Ocarina of Time 3D, where it's like you can use it to make smaller adjustments. But then I found myself slowly drifting into just using the stick and forgetting the gyro was there until I like would just move. And then I just wished I had it off, you know? So it was like a neat, novel thing that I slowly forgot it was there until it was like kind of annoying. But I think it was implemented well. And like that the game offered two different sort of versions of the game that you could use the controls with to make it work. Like I would say, you know, a lot of it I would compare to, of this game, I would compare to Ocarina of Time 3D, which is that they took a very much like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it type approach. And like the things they did add, like motion controls and stuff like that, are very much like you can play the game close to how you would play the original game if you want, and they didn't, like you mentioned, Freezer, with the Diddy Kong Racing DS controls, be like, now here's some like crazy stuff you have to do, and it's kind of obnoxious.
This is like one of the most faithful, and I don't mean to sound disparaging, but like least necessary remakes, because it controls 1-to-1. It looks very like basically like the same game with a new coat of paint. It's kind of like this game the only real changes in this remake are really small quality of life things. Mm-hmm. But like when you play Ocarina, even though that is basically 1-to-1, you've got like the iron boots being improved, and then you play other remakes where they really change things. Yeah, this game, it doesn't really change much, and like you said, they didn't need to fix it. It's just my feelings to the 64 game and this game are almost 1-to-1, because it is basically the same game with a new coat of paint.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I feel. Like, McKenna, when you were playing it, it wasn't like, oh, this is a totally different game.
Yeah, it pretty much felt the same. Mm-hmm. I'd probably need to go back and play the 64 version to figure out if I just got better at it.
Oh, yeah.
Because I did.
Well, you played on Nintendo 3DS mode, right? Which I believe is easier, right?
Mm-hmm. It is easier. I don't know the metrics. I think there's fewer enemies, things like that. But it's a nice thing. And once again, the new remake we're getting also has an easy mode. So it's good to see a more welcoming version of this game while also leaving the original mode available, and also including expert mode for the sick freaks like me. It's good to just, this game, it's hard for me to realize it because I've played this game so much, but it is actually pretty difficult, especially to new-time players. I've seen so many people game over around Solar, and they're like, people in their 20s and 30s playing for the first time. And it wasn't that I was a stupid little kid that sucked. It's that the game is hard until you get good at it. And it's nice to see a mode that like even less skilled players could probably play the 3DS version and feel really good about themselves, which is nice. I would have loved that as a kid. I know that for sure.
I think there's probably some truth to it. I think you probably did get better at it as well.
I'm sure you did. It's the more you play it, the better you get.
Yeah, I think when we played this on the N64, we kind of like passed the controller every other level, which is not really great for getting better at the game, because then you're not just continuously playing it. But it was on Titania, the desert.
We were with the Landmaster. Like the hardest level in the game.
I could not beat it on the N64. I remember trying and game overing at the boss so many times. So Goo ended up beating it. I played it on this one, the 3DS, and it still gave me trouble. It took me a few tries, but I did it. I beat it. I beat the game by myself.
Woo! It's exciting. Now you just have to beat it like 10 more times to see everything.
Yeah.
But no, Titania is like a cruel joke because that's on the quote easy path, and that's a significant like difficulty step up from most of the game. Like I would say Titania kind of belongs on the red path. Honestly, they throw a lot at you.
After I finished that, I was like, the rest of it feels like a breeze.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, why? Just a little difficulty bump right there.
Yeah,
I think that was something you mentioned in your video, was that like there was a little bit of like some of the hard levels could be uneasy, right? Like it was maybe not like perfectly balanced, maybe.
Yeah, no, this game had a lot of cut content because Nintendo obviously getting into 3D games, they were overly ambitious about how much they could make and what period of time they could make, which is why N64 games, there were often droughts between first-party releases. And we saw a similar thing with like the GameCube, where things like Wind Waker had to be slimmed down a little to get out on time.
Yeah.
So there was meant to be like, I think like every level was meant to have 2 or 3 like levels after that. Because like some in this game, like Solar, you can only go to Macbeth. It's only like one path from there. And Aquis, you can only go to Zonus. But in the original, it would have been like, if you fail on Aquis, then you go to Solar or something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And the level layout seemed to have been swapped around quite a bit. Like, I don't know when they settled on the final order and placement, but like during like the Giga Leak of Nintendo, we saw, and they also spoke about it in interviews earlier, but we got like definitive proof that there was meant to be 3 versions of Venom, and there's Area 6, Bolts, and then another level that would have been on the middle path that led into Venom. So like this game had so much cut content, and it doesn't feel like it because it's such a replayable game. And but it's amazing, and they'll never do it. But like I kind of hope that like the new Star Fox remake incorporates a little of that, because you know we don't need the exact same game again a third time, especially when it's on the NSO. But
yeah, come on. Well,
they'll give us the same old, and we'll eat it up like the slop it is, and I'll still say it's the best game of the decade.
Yeah, we'll see. By the time this comes out, we might look like fools, but we'll find
hopefully.
out. I did actually game over on one run I did in preparation for this. And I feel like my biggest issue with the game is not really the game, and it's probably why I just didn't do a ton of like long-term gaming on the system, is that like I just can't hold a 3DS that long. Like my hands start to hurt. Like I got big hands, and it's kind of a small, like I don't have the XL, I just have the original.
Oh, I'm so sorry. The XL helps, but even then it's a giant slab, so it's not exactly ergonomic.
I can get away, like I've done plenty of, single sitting plays of Ocarina of Time, and I can sort of get by because a lot of times, you can sort of take one hand off and just move around for a bit. You don't have to like be pressing buttons, but this, you got to be like, it's really fast paced gameplay like the whole time. So it's hard. Like I do get pretty cramped after only like 2 levels. So I found it challenging in that way, but playing through like the easy path, like I was on like, I think the medium difficulty. I played through like the easy path, and it was, there was that level, previously mentioned level, but it was mostly like chill and a good time. So I still enjoyed my time with it, despite, getting some hand cramps. And I don't know. I think those little extra touches on the 3D version were nice. It's like, it's similar to me with Ocarina of Time, where it's like, I still love the original. Like this doesn't replace it, but I think it's like a nice, like like a nice presentation of it. And there's like those little extra gimmicks of the 3D, or that bottom screen where you're getting communications from the other people, and they pop up there, or like you have to like press to get the supplies from Rob the robot or whatever. Like those were cute little gimmicks that I appreciated. Maybe
it was also more appreciated back when this game wasn't like, emulating N64 was pretty difficult on the go back then,
Oh,
so
fair,
like,
yeah.
Just having a version of this game, even if it was compromised, which it isn't, I still would have loved it. But no, the value of this game is kind of diminished in an era where the Switch has this game and you can play it wherever you want.
I will say one thing that's kind of unique to it, that was fun. We only did a little bit, was we did do the battle mode, and we did it via download play. We only have one copy of the game, but we were able to play together using download play, which was a nice feature. And I never really cared for, we did like 4-player with our friends on Star Fox 64 on Nintendo Classics, and I don't know, it was fine. Like it was entertaining for a little bit, but I didn't love it. And we didn't play this that long, but I thought it was like being able to like add in the bots was nice. And then the little extra 3DS gimmick of it using your camera to show your face to the other person, even though they're sitting in the same room with you. I don't know. It was fun. It was pretty fun. Did you like the battle?
Yeah, I felt like my face often went out of the frame because
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, should I be holding my 3DS so that I'm in the frame properly?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun. I like the download play stuff from the 3DS.
That's a really cool. I mean, they've kind of brought that back with the Switch 2 has stuff like that.
I have this.
You can do like Switch 1 multiplayer against the Switch 2, which is basically download play. They did the same thing with like Bonanza, where you can co-op on a Switch 1. So,
oh yeah, we'll definitely do some of that co-op for sure.
And you get to instead of showing your face, you get to show a furry animal face instead.
Well, yeah, that's a. Did you, Freezer? Did you do much of the battle mode on 3DS?
No, I had no friends.
Okay,
but I liked it because it had bots, which the N64 version didn't. So I played slightly more of this version than the original. Because when I played multiplayer on N64 on a shitty laptop, it was just one corner was my guy running or flying an R-Wing or whatever. And then the other 3 screens were just showing it from different angles, running in like blank void. But I got to actually play against bots, so that's an improvement.
You definitely need to do something to it to make it more interesting. It looks like it'll be interesting in this new game, which, okay, we can have a section here where we just kind of more generally talk about the new game, because I feel like we talked about all the new aspects of the game, of Star Fox 64 3D, but I wanted to transition to that with McKenna. You found a really funny quote from Nintendo Power from this time, like the review of the game or a preview, right?
Yeah, this is like the first sentence of the review.
Okay, so please share.
After underwhelming audiences with its past few installments, then laying dormant for 5 years, Star Fox has been a series in dire need of a jumpstart. How fitting that the thing to finally supply that jolt is a return to Fox McCloud's all-time greatest exploit.
And it seems like
once again,
time is a flat circle here, right?
Yeah.
So
that was definitely what they also wanted to do with Star Fox Zero was jumpstart, but no one bought it, and even fewer people liked it. So here we go again.
Yeah, so we're here. We're talking about this, and of course, like, who knows? There might be, so the game might come out, and there might be stuff about it that makes us look foolish almost instantly. But and we've kind of hinted at it already. But like, how are you, Freezer, feeling about this new Star Fox, the remake that's coming out?
I will preface this by saying I have pre-ordered it, and I will definitely love it. Unless it like literally doesn't run or the buttons don't work, I will like it. That said, I do wish we got like new levels, or like, I'm not one of those people that I don't care what the story is in Star Fox. I'm happy if Crystal exists. I'm happy if she doesn't. I'm happy if we go further in the timeline. I don't really care. I want different levels. Part of me wishes this was a remake of the Super Nintendo Star Fox, because we haven't had that like as a remake yet. Like, this is just a remake of that game that's already been remade.
Right. Yeah, I pretty much 100% agree with you. Like, I understand like the idea of like we're doing like no additional gimmicks. We're going back to like the most successful formula we've had with this. Like, they must feel like there's some juice in Star Fox, where it's like, if we just go back to that,
thinks there's juice in Star Fox, and everyone does what he says.
What I hope is this is like a Link's Awakening remake situation, where this is just to like kind of reboot this sort of gameplay that we haven't done in a while, and then hopefully it leads to like another game. But I'm with you. Like, I don't really care what the story is, but yeah, I do kind of wish we were treading. It could be familiar gameplay, but like a new-ish setting, new levels. Like, that's kind of my
like even Star Fox Zero, the game that even ignoring all the issues people have with it, the level design was still new. It was Corneria, but it was different. And then you had like a Sector Y ripoff, but it was different. You had things like that. I just want more of that. I don't care if it's Corneria but different. Just give me something different.
I'm with you, yeah.
I've saved Falco's butt so many damn times. I don't need to fight for his archers over and over for the rest of my life.
Go into that waterfall, yeah.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about it, McKenna?
Yeah, I guess, I would prefer that they just make a new game if they're gonna bring back the series. We're gonna play this game when it comes out, and I hope there's something a little extra that will make it feel worth it to play over one of its predecessors.
My hope is
that co-op where one of you can shoot and the other can fly. So
we can do that. I'm excited to do that.
I think that'll probably be fun. I feel like that is more intriguing of a concept to me than the Bonanza co-op, because like that was like, it was more of like a Mario Galaxy where it's like, let's just give the second person something extra to do. That's in Galaxy it was like superfluous a bit, and in Bonanza it was overpowered. But I feel like it might work in Star Fox because it's like you're just playing the game. You're just splitting up duties. One person's flying, one person's shooting. So I think that might help me, because like I feel like that's the thing that doesn't drive with me about this kind of thing, is having like I'm both aiming and moving with one control. Yeah. That's why you got to play Star Fox Zero. I'll
get two controllers, and I'll do both. I'll use my left hand to control the aiming and the right to control the movement.
Oh my god, I love that. That might be cool. Yeah. That might work. I'm excited about it because they also. This is maybe a silly reason to be excited about it, but I thought it was cool that they were encouraging people like, "Hey, you could play with the Nintendo 64 controller," and it was just cool to see. Like we spent a weekend at a gaming convention, and we watched a lot of younger people come up and be baffled by an N64 controller. And I don't know, I just love that it's like there's a new game in 2026 that Nintendo is like, by the way, you could play with the N64 controller. And I don't know, I think it might be fun like that. We kind of get to like, there's been games we've talked about that have had like those like enhanced ports and remasters and stuff like this, but this is kind of a little different where it's like sort of a new game. And this is like really nothing to do with the game itself, but more our podcast. But I'm kind of excited, like we can do an episode about like a new video game. That's kind of cool.
We can find out what music was like number one in a month. What movie is going to be big in a month? It's going to be so exciting.
God. I didn't even think about that.
What are you going to call it? It won't be a flashback.
Yeah.
It'll be a current in the moment.
Well, no, because it'll be like, we'll probably do the episode.
In the future, it'll be a flashback.
And we'll still be talking about when it came out. And by then we can be like, remember
2 weeks ago.
Remember 2 weeks ago
when the Trump phone came out? That was exciting.
Yeah, remember his hands. R.I.P. Right? That's what we'll be saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm intrigued by that. But the thing I think I'm most interested in, and who knows? Like I said, by the time this comes out, it could be a dud. But the multiplayer seems like it could be fun, like actually substantial. Like this is probably like one of the few times where, other than like a Mario Kart game, where we'll likely have a bunch of friends who have the game all at the same time, and we can play like online multiplayer. Because you couldn't do that with Star Fox 64 3D. They're like, that's too much for they were like, that's too complicated. But
it came out at that period of time when no one owned a 3DS except me, so it didn't help.
Yeah, they're like no only losers
have a platformer.
That should have had online multiplayer.
Yeah. Well, when that gets remade for Switch too, it might.
And I'm on team. I like the character designs.
They grew on me, definitely. The only one I'm a little not 100% sold on is one that I'm still conflicted on and kind of like. Cat. I do like that Cat isn't just pink girl anymore, but I'm not 100% sold on that like overly grey color scheme. But it is nice to have a version of Cat that isn't pink.
Yeah, that was probably maybe my least favorite of the designs, but I like the main cast. I think looks cool. I don't know how, like, if you'd agree with this, McKenna. I saw some people interpret it as like they're going for gritty realism, and I didn't think that was the case. I thought it kind of harkened back to me about like, I feel like what's kind of like novel about like the first few Star Fox games is that it's like you're basically like doing an X-Wing game, but you're animals, and that's silly and goofy and fun. And I think by making them look more like the realistic animal, it kind of heightens that. And so to me, it doesn't come off as gritty realism. It comes off as like silly and goofy. And I think they like, you know, I've liked most of the Star Fox designs throughout the years or whatever, but they made Star Fox look like, you know, slick and cool, especially with like Smash and stuff. So I kind of like that. It's like, yeah, Falco looks like a weird ass bird now. Like he looks kind of like the original puppet, you know, from the SNES game. And I like that.
Yeah, no, I like they lean more into the animal designs, and they all have like fucked up feet. Like Falco's got bird feet and things like that. It's
that's
nice.
A staple of the series, honestly, is their fucked up feet.
Yeah. Hopefully with the Switch 2 cameras, if you put your feet in front of it, you get to see. That would sell so many. That would sell so much.
You know, some people are going to try to...
Yeah, Slippy pulls out his little web toes.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else. Okay.
No. Well...
People will try that.
That's for the mature app.
Yeah, McKenna, do you have any feelings about like the way they look or anything?
Yeah, I think they look goofy. I don't think they look. I don't think they have a gritty, realistic vibe.
Mm-hmm.
I
mean, I feel like the world looks like gritty in like a Star Wars-y kind of way. But again, that's like what I think makes it like fun and silly, is that it's like a toad and a rabbit and stuff. But
yeah,
I do kind of like that we're getting like cutscenes between missions, which hopefully you can skip when you come to replay it for like the 50th time. But like the idea that you get to see them be like, oh fuck, we've got to go to Titania to rescue Slippy. Like, yeah, like you get to actually see that. Or they're like, Wet Fox, you really want to fly into the sun? Do you really want to do that?
I'm definitely not someone who's like, I need more story in Star Fox, but I think it's like the concept of doing it is fun, and like playing through it to see that sounds fun. But it is, yeah. I hope at this point, I'm sure they're gonna allow people to skip. If they don't, that would be insane. But they've been pretty good about that.
Yeah.
And one thing that will make this better than the 3DS version is it won't tell you every half hour to take a break and go outside.
That's something I noticed in that era of like 3DS Wii. Like they would often tell you to take a break, but I feel like maybe other games are like this. This one was more explicit about like when you're using the 3DS, or the 3D feature, like take a break every so often, and it had me questioning like, am I going to hurt myself?
This is bad for me.
Like I never had considered that until they like worded it that way. So.
I will say I'd love to see them do a Star Fox in the style of the Galaxy movie, like cartoon bit they did.
Oh, the more like it was like vaporwave kind of thing.
Yeah, I thought that looked really cool.
I feel like that would benefit it, like that would lend itself well to something that is more like a quote unquote retro feel. So maybe that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll see. We'll see what happens when it comes out. Obviously, that's sort of our impressions, and maybe we'll look like fools. But I don't know. I guess one thing I'll actually throw in is it's going to have a different tone because, you know, Star Fox 64 3D, you know, they did kind of update like the voice acting and stuff, but I feel like it mostly keeps the tone of the original game. Freezer, I think you talked about that in your video, but this is going to have like, a different cast or whatever. Like, have you gotten any sense of that?
Yeah, so the original game, basically every line with very few exceptions in 3D was identical. Like, they changed things like Falcos called you a genius instead of Einstein, but that's the only one that really
Why did they do that?
Einstein doesn't exist in the Star Fox universe. Do you think there's like a really intelligent like dog out there?
That would be a great thing to introduce, like a new character. Yeah. There's room for lore there. Nintendo shut themselves off.
Yeah. So that's the only like difference. But with the new Star Fox trailer, every line outside like basically every gameplay line is a little different. Like the most obvious example is in Corneria, where Slippy gets shot up at the start because he's awful. He's now saying something like, "Oh, Fox, can you cover me while I change some settings on my ship or something?" So they do that. They're like changing all the dialogue. Which
Slippy should be annoying.
Yeah, well, he will be. He'll make you go to Titania.
God dang it.
Yeah. No, but they're changing everything, and I don't think this will make the game like pretty realistic or anything, but this has the potential to change the stakes a little, because it does seem a little less silly than before.
Yeah, I like that. Like the James McCloud backstory thing they showed, like it was like very serious, and that's what I liked about it was like we got to see like the betrayal of James McCloud or whatever. It
was already like serious. Your dad got like murdered by his friend.
Yeah, I also saw people being like, "Why is he wearing sunglasses? What the hell?" It's like, didn't he always wear sunglasses? Or am I just like misremembering?
Yeah, James always wore sunglasses. And okay, this is the thing that's worrying me the most about the remake. They never showed expert mode, and in expert mode, Fox always wears sunglasses like his dad. So we know there's an expert mode, but we never saw the sunglasses. So that's going to be the biggest issue.
Oh, okay.
Especially if they have the stupid camera thing. I need people to see that I am playing the sunglasses version of Fox.
So they know how hardcore.
They need to know how good I am. Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, by the time people are hearing this, we will know, and you will hopefully be wearing those sunglasses.
Oh God, I hope. Otherwise, I will I'll basically get everyone to send angry reviews to them in person. Like, go to Nintendo's office, drop off angry reviews. I won't, I'm going to wink while I say this, but drop off some pipe bombs to Nintendo until they update the game.
Yeah, parody, of course, or whatever.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay,
you didn't say parody when you talked about Trump dying, but this one. This time you have to make sure.
I'm just saying that's a thing that will probably happen, and we'll flash back.
Happens to everyone eventually.
Yeah, and like I said, you see those now. It's on both hands are scary now. So
yeah, and Nintendo will eventually get pipe bombed by someone. It won't necessarily be me.
No. Well, it's their Australian office.
Yeah.
Okay, well, is there, other than like threats or whatever, is there anything else you would like to say about Star Fox 64 3D, or Star Fox, the new one? Yeah, anything.
Just a couple things, really. This is completely anecdotal, but I have a friend who really liked the original Super Nintendo Star Fox and could not get into 64 at all.
That's awesome.
But
I love that.
She tried to play 64 3D a week ago, and she was like, "Now I get it." And the save feature actually was one of the things that helped, because she didn't have to play it all in one burst. So that's nice.
Okay.
Completely anecdotal, but I'm happy with that. Also, Star Fox 64, like regular edition, is the only Star Fox game that doesn't have a toggle for flight controls. So down is always up and up is always down. The remake put that back in, and
I didn't even think about
Fox. That. Yeah, Super Nintendo Star Fox has a toggle. I believe Assault has a toggle. I know Zero has a toggle. 3D has a toggle. Command's its own weird fucking thing. So I genuinely hope they bring this back in, because I read an old Nintendo Power interview, and Miyamoto, or whoever was talking, basically said, yeah, we were going to put an option so people could play with up is up and down is down, but we removed it because we wanted to standardize things. Fuck you. I'm not a big fan of flight controls. I adapt and clearly have with my millions of hours in this game, but I prefer up being up and down being down. I'm one of those weird freaks. I don't like being lied to when I play a game.
Miyamoto is a freak, I will say.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a freak. I was like, I'm good with it. I actually think I prefer it in Star Fox. It might just be because it's a rail shooter, like you don't have to think too much about 3D when you're doing it. So like it connects with me a little bit more. Did you mess with that, McKenna? What's your default?
I like inverted for flight.
Yeah. Okay.
And most people do. I'm the weird one here, and I admit that, but back when I played this game on a shitty laptop, I made sure W was up and S was down, which made the menu navigation really annoying because I had to go down to go up, and that the main menu.
Oh, yeah. That's super messed up.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it seems like a no-brainer that this would have it, but I guess they haven't revealed that.
They haven't revealed every single detail of the settings yet, which is really making me anxious. We need the Lilat language back again.
Yeah. Oh, that would be so cool, especially for those like super serious cutscenes. Like that's what I mean. I want that contrast between like the seriousness of the story with like the goofiness of the animals. So,
and I just want to also say I hate the name Star Fox for this remake of 64. They could have called it a million other things, but they called it the series, which is also the first game's name, unless you're in Europe or Australia. So it's just now when you talk about Star Fox, are you going to talk about the first game, this one, the series? Who knows?
This is such a like bafflingly named series.
Yeah, really ambiguous. You gotta specify when you say Star Fox. You gotta specify. You gotta be specific.
Star Fox 2026.
And they could have called it something like Star Fox The Lilat Wars, and it would have made everyone happy, but they don't want to.
I think this confirms that to Nintendo, like, I could be wrong. This could be inconsistent, but in Nintendo's mind, like 64 is not like a title thing. It's just like, this is the 64 version of this is just, I'm not standing by this, but you know what I mean? Like if they remade Super Mario 64, maybe they would just call it Super Mario. I don't know.
Oh God.
I hope this just indicates like series reboot.
Yeah.
If they make a sequel to this called Star Fox 2, I'm going to lose my mind.
Oh my God. Well, I was going to say no, because like it's all about search engine optimization, but the name of this game kind of flies in the face of that. We'll see. I'm like, yeah, I do hope that this is like a fresh start and we get something that it has some new ideas, but maybe it's not as batshit insane as Star Fox Zero. Although I feel like that might fall under our jurisdiction of games we could cover technically, right?
I think so.
So
they'll make a sequel to this, and they'll get Rare to make it, and it'll be a Zelda clone.
Oh, this all comes full circle. Yeah, We'll have to do a Wii Unter and talk about our first Wii U game on the show. It's only it's inevitable.
Have you covered the Wii version of GoldenEye yet?
No, remember but that is for sure gonna happen at some point. For sure. Oh God.
This podcast will never end.
No.
No, yeah. Like I said, this is our retirement
it's our
plan.
Life's work.
McKenna, do you have any final thoughts on this game? Or the new game, or Star Fox, or Trump's hands, or anything? Moves Maroon 5.
You know, I like having a handheld Star Fox. I'm gonna be vague about which Star Fox I mean there.
I can hold the Switch
definitely mean command.
Switch 2 I can deal with longer.
I almost exclusively play my Switch and Switch 2 and handheld.
I still get a little cramped up after a while, but I think I'll be okay.
Yeah. Good remake. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's very similar, but I enjoy it. I like having it on the 3DS.
What's your favorite Maroon 5 song? Gave me
I'm not one of them. Yeah.
Maroon 5 is like Train to me. It's like they're kind of interchangeably bland and bad, but
it's not She Will Be Loved.
No.
I don't. Yeah.
Is anyone out there? Because it's getting hotter and hotter to breathe. Okay, we got to get out of here.
Maroon 5 sounds like it'd be one of Andross's bases.
Maroon 5. Oh my god.
Maroon 5 in Area 6.
Get ready to face your friends in an intergalactic battle of epic proportions. Hunt them down. Dive. Loop the loop. Barrel roll. Then blast them into oblivion. Wireless multiplayer action for up to 4 players. Star Fox 64 3D. Only on Nintendo 3DS.
Freezer, thank you so much for
I'm so
us.
glad to be here.
We talked about your channel, but please promote yourself, plug yourself.
Okay, so obviously I'm on YouTube at Freezer, and I'm sure my Blue Sky will be in the description for this, but I also have my own podcast that no one listens to because I've been incredibly busy and haven't had time to update it that often, but a friend of mine and we host the Sci-Fright Zone. It's about the Outer Limits, Night Gallery, and the Twilight Zone, so it's a bunch of old anthology shows. I do that with Alicia, who is the Geek Critique's wife, so that's some SEO there. It's Geek Critique adjacent.
Love it.
He's popular on YouTube.
Love it. Yeah, that's such a great concept for a show.
And my wife and I'm going to be very careful of how I word this. We both left our previous job for some reasons. But if you want to support us in our new business, where we make custom shirts and merchandise and things like that, and we do ship internationally, we have a business called Croco Styles. So yeah, we sell lots of stuff. We've sold plenty to America despite tariffs. So, I'm glad some of you chose my shirts over eating that week, but it's nice.
Yeah. Well, I think hopefully that's, okay now where you can order stuff and not get hit with those. So
let's hope. But it's been nice, and it's all human-made art with no AI. Thank God.
Yeah. Oh, please.
Yeah. It's a rare thing to see these days. But yeah, no, we've been trucking along with our very few sales, but every sale helps. But
awesome.
Yeah, it's good to be not part of that job that I won't describe anymore for legal reasons.
Yeah, I only, I don't know much, but I only wish them will bad will. So,
yeah.
Well, yeah, thank you. We'll have links to all of that. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on. It was great to finally get to talk to you. Like love your channel. Like I said, it's super in-depth coverage of not just Star Fox 64, but a lot of games. And I think
almost all handheld games. I'm a weird freak. I have an Atari Lynx. No one has one of those.
Yeah,
I have an N-Gage.
I think a lot of people who like our show will really enjoy what you do, because it's like, you dig into very unique stuff, not just these uber popular games like Star Fox 64.
One of these days I'm going to cover Diddy Kong Racing DS, and I'll try to enjoy myself.
I look forward to that. So thank you everyone for listening. You can check out all our stuff at flashback64.com. You can also check out all the other shows on our podcast network at soundstone.network. Thanks to our good pal and Triforce tier patron Lee. We appreciate you. You can support us at patreon.com/flashback64. McKenna, great job as always.
Great job, Goo.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time. Good luck. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey everyone, my name's Darren Hupke. I'm a writer, publisher, and podcaster. My podcast is called Pixels and Polygons. Each week I sit down with a guest and ask one simple video game question. It's a random topic each week and it leads to a fun conversation. You can find it on your favorite podcast platform every Friday, and you can read more about it at pixelsandpolygons.net.
Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. I'm Nick McConnell, and you caught me reading the instruction booklet for Street Fighter II in preparation for my weekly stream Instruction Derby, where I take a look at the creative, fun, and sometimes bizarre lost art of video game manuals. Did you know that, according to the manual for Street Fighter II on the Super Nintendo, Ryu was born in 1964, making him 62 years young, canonically? Happy birthday, Ryu. You're looking great. Did you also know that, per the manual for Laser Invasion on the Nintendo, the UN enters a conclave in order to select a new commando? Or did you know that the dancing enemies in Super Castlevania are named Paula Abgul and Fred Askare? These important facts and many more are discovered every Wednesday at noon Pacific on Instruction Derby over at internet website twitch.tv/Nick McConnell. Part of the Soundstone Network.